Okay, Noah, can you state your full name and number?
I'm Noah Ho, and I'm number 6.
What are the muscle groups utilized in the back squats?
The muscle group utilized in the back squat is quadriceps, hamstrings, and gluteus maximus.
What are some of the techniques that you must take note of when doing a back squat?
The technique is that you have to go under the bar, let it rest comfortably on your shoulders. Make sure that your hands are slightly wider than shoulder width. Make sure your legs are shoulder width apart. When you lift up the bar, when doing the back squat, bend your knees and keep your back straight at all times. And when you bend down, when you bend your knees, make sure that your thighs are parallel to the ground before returning back to standing position slowly.
What are some of the variation exercises?
The variation exercise is front squat, deadlift, and barbell lunges.
And what are some of the safety precautions?
Make sure that there are 2 supporters at each end of the barbell. Make sure keep your back straight and do not exceed your toe level. Make sure that your knees do not exceed your toe level.
Noah, what are the muscle groups utilized in a bench press?
The muscle groups utilized in the bench press is biceps, triceps, and your pectorals.
What are some of the techniques that you must take note of when doing a bench press?
The techniques that you must take note of is that first place your back on the bench. Use your hands to grip onto the barbell, and it must be shoulder width apart. Make sure that your eye is level to the barbell before lifting it up. When lifting it up, place around your chest level and bring it down, and before lifting it up again. Make sure that when bringing it down, make sure that your barbell gently touches your chest before lifting it up. And when you bring it down, breathe in, and when you lift up, breathe out.
What are some of the variation exercises?
Variation exercises are dumbbell bench press, incline bench press, and push-ups.
And what are safety precautions?
The safety precautions are make sure that you do weights that you're comfortable with, and make sure that there are two spotters at each end of the barbell.
Noah, can you tell me what are the muscle groups utilized in the lunge?
The muscle group utilized are gluteus maximus, quadriceps, and hamstrings.
What are some of the techniques that you must take note of?
Some of the techniques that you must take note of is when you go under the bar, let the bar rest on let the shoulder rest on the bar, and when you hold the bar, when you grab the bar, make sure that it's shoulder width apart, and lift it up before lunging forward. When you lunge forward, make sure that your thighs are parallel to the ground, and return back to standing position. Make sure that your back is straight at all times. So breathe in when you lunge forward, and breathe out when you lunge backwards. And when you go back to standing position.
What are some of the variation exercises?
Some of the variation exercises are front squat, back squat, and lateral lunges.
And what are some of the safety precautions?
Some safety precautions are make sure that you do weights that you're comfortable with, and make sure that there are spotters at each side of the bar. Keep your back straight at all times to prevent extra pressure.
What are the muscle groups utilized in a French press?
The muscle group utilized are triceps.
What are some of the techniques that you must take note of?
The techniques that you must take note of that is you must place your dumbbell vertically above your head, and when you flex your elbows, keep your back straight at all times, and when you flex your elbows, bring it down and return back to starting position. Make sure that your back is straight at all times, and when you flex your elbows, breathe in, and when you return back to starting position, breathe out.
What are some of the variation exercises?
The variation exercises are triceps extension and easy bar pull over.
And what are some of the safety precautions?
Safety precautions are there is no need of supporters. Make sure that you do weights that you're comfortable with, and make sure that when you extend your elbow, do not hyperextend it.
What are some of the muscle groups utilized in a deadlift?
Some of the muscle groups utilized in deadlift are quadriceps, hamstrings, and gluteus maximus.
What are some of the techniques that you must take note of?
Firstly, you must put your hands at shoulder width apart to the barbell, and make sure that your legs are shoulder width apart also. Then lift the bar up to standing position. Make sure that when doing the deadlift, when you flex your knees, make sure that your knees don't exceed your toe level, and make sure that and return back up to starting position. Keep your back straight at all times. And when you breathe, when you flex your knees, breathe in, and when you extend your knees, breathe out.
What are some of the variation exercises?
The variation exercises are front squat, back squat, back squat, and dynamic lunges.
And what are some of the safety precautions?
Some safety precaution is there is no need of supporters. Make sure that you do weights that you are comfortable with. Make sure that you keep your back straight at all times, and knees do not exceed your toe level.
Okay, Noah, can you tell me what is the relevance of the exercises you have chosen to your sport in tennis?
The relevance is that when doing the deadlift, back squat, and dynamic lunges, it utilizes mostly of your legs, so that you'll be able to retrieve the ball faster, more steadily, with stability. And for bench press, it helps you to increase your upper body, so that you are able to drive into the ball with more force and more, so that the opponents will not be able to take it. And lastly, for French press, it helps you to when doing serving, it helps you to exert more force, so that you hit the ball with more impact, and the opponent may not be able to return it.